So as you take a moment, settle in, allow yourself to connect with the base of your body, and then allow yourself to align your spine, crown of the head over the tailbone, so that you feel like you're in a somewhat neutral position. Open up some space in the body. Begin to notice your breathing. So as we're drawing our attention inward, we're connecting with our body, allow yourself to set an intention. Even though we've asked for certain things, set the intention for how you want to feel when we're done with the class. Now, on your next exhale, let's lower the chin to the chest as we place our hands down beside our hips to feel a bit more grounded. Take a minute and notice how the muscles in the back of the neck feel. And out on the inhale, let's lift our head up to level. Maybe lift your chin above level. Now, notice how this feels when you lift your head up. It's going to be a little more energizing to your body. Make sure you're not getting compression at the base of the skull. Exhale, lower your chin down. Notice the back of the neck a little bit more. Maybe there's some tension releasing. Inhale, lift your head up. Maybe draw your shoulders back a bit more. We're going to take this flexion and extension further and further down into our spine, just starting to move a little bit. Inhale. And exhale. So this is a nice maintenance move for if you're not going to do like a full movement practice each day, you might consider just doing some flexion and extension of your spine, just to ease some of that back tension. Now, when we come back up to neutral, we're going to let our hands rest beside us. Lift your shoulders up by your ears, and then let's squeeze the shoulder blades together and back. So it's going to stretch across your chest, and then allow yourself to bring those hands forward. Lift the shoulders up, draw your shoulders back, release your hands down. And one more time, let's bring the shoulders forward, lift them up, exhale, draw your shoulders back, and let's place your hands down behind you. Work the hands in close. Take a minute and really notice how this feels. All the muscles along your spine in a shortened position. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Again, a nice neutral position to be in, and it's something, this is a daily practice as well, bringing your spine into alignment and getting the muscles in your back to relax. Now let's keep your right hand where it's at. Bring your left hand over to your right knee, sit tall, and allow yourself to come into a gentle twist. Just aiming for that knee with your gaze. Your torso is twisting mid-chest to tailbone. Allow yourself to let your neck be nice and natural here. We're focusing on the lower portion of the body. You might slide that hand in closer to your hip. Press against your thigh for a slightly deeper twist. And breathe. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring your left hand behind you. Bring your right hand over to the left knee. Sit tall. Slide your hand in closer. And just take a minute and really notice how it feels to twist in the opposite direction. And then we come back to center, and we might go ahead and lean into that right hand. Take your left arm, extend it up, open up some space in the side body. Let your hand come to your temple, and then just laterally flex gently. You can bend your elbow if you want a slightly deeper lateral flexion, or you can slide that hand out away from the body if you like. And breathe. And then inhale, let's come back up. Bring your left hand down beside you. Lift that right arm up if you choose to. Lean over to the side with a nice gentle lateral flexion, or slide the hand out. Go deeper if you choose. And breathe. We're going to come back up to center and exhale and release. Now we might go ahead and just lean forward from our hips. Place your hands down in front. Let's walk our hands out. Fold over our legs. This is going to reach the glutes and the low back pretty well. It's just a gentle stretch again. You can stack your hands flat or in fists. It'll add a little gentle compression to your abdomen. Here, let's press into our hands, walk our hands back in. Let's come to a child's pose. Rest on our shins, ease our hips back toward our heels, stack your hands flat or in fists underneath your forehead. And breathe. Again, with the knees together, it's going to add a little bit of compression to the abdomen. If it's too much, take your knees a little wider and breathe. Now we might extend our arms out in front, palms on the mat, spread your fingers wide. Allow yourself to shift your body forward, bring your shoulders over your wrists, let your hips come down toward the mat. Notice how that feels, and then inhale, lift your hips, and exhale, ease them back toward your heels. So maybe we flow through this a few times just to relax and release hip tension, low back tension, especially if you've been sitting a lot. Now, when you come forward and you let your hips release down, hang out here a little bit longer. And then we're going to tuck our toes, walk your hands in a bit closer, and then lift those knees up and alternate your heels down toward the floor. Let your knees come down, take the knees wide this time, ease your hips back toward your heels, stack your hands underneath your forehead. Send those arms out in front, spread the fingers wide once again, lift our hips up, tuck your toes, and let's go ahead and place the soles of the feet on the mat with your feet about hip distance apart or a bit wider. And then walk your hands in toward your body. Fingertips can be touching the floor, maybe the palms come down. Allow the chest to fold forward toward the legs. Bend your knees. Inhale, let's come all the way up. And on the exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And let's go ahead and come into a nice wide-legged posture here. Take your feet wider than your hips. Allow yourself to notice how this feels. We're going to do some forward folds from here as well. So allow yourself to hinge forward from your waist. The hip flexors are going to be the focus here. Allow yourself to maybe put your fingertips down in front. Now you can walk the hands forward a bit. Rock forward into the base of your toes, or you can stay planted back into the heel area. Maybe your palms come down. And breathe. Nice stretch for the back of the legs, the inner thighs. Maybe we bend our elbows and lower a little closer to the floor. And breathe. Now inhale, let's bring our head back up to center. Come back up onto the fingertips. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale your head up. Now maybe turn that right foot to the end of the mat. Bend your right knee. Let's extend our arms out at shoulder height, palms down. Look down the center of that right arm. Look off into the distance and breathe. Warrior 2. Turn the palm up. Lift the hand toward the ceiling. Lightly touch the back leg. Exalted warrior. The lateral flexion of the spine. Now inhale. And on the exhale, let's come back to your warrior 2. Place your left hand on your left hip, straighten your right leg, reach out over that right leg, connect with your shin. Fingertips to the back of the hand, draw your left shoulder back. Let's stack our left arm over our right. Triangle pose, and breathe. Rebend that knee, come back to our warrior 2, both hands on our hips. Turn that right foot forward, and then we're going to turn the left foot toward the end of the mat. Bend the left knee. Allow yourself to extend arms out at shoulder height, palms down. Look down the center of your left arm. Look off into the distance and breathe. Again, you might turn that palm up. Lift the hand toward the ceiling. Exalted warrior, lateral flexion of your spine. And breathe. And then we're going to come back to warrior 2. Allow yourself to straighten the leg. Place your right hand on your right hip. Reach out over that left leg. Connect with your shin. Draw your right shoulder back. And consider lifting that right arm up. Stack it over the left. Triangle pose. And breathe. And once again, let's come back to our warrior 2. Hands to our hips. Now, Let's turn both feet out on an angle away from the center of the body. We're going to bend our knees, drop into our hips, place your thumbs behind your thighs, bring your fingers in front, and you can drop into a nice squat pose here and breathe. You can bring your hips down a little closer to the floor if you like. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten those legs, heel toe your feet together. And let's go ahead and do a forward fold. So inhale, lift your arms up. And on the exhale, hinge forward to a flat back. Take your arms back behind you, lengthening, stretching the hamstrings and your low back. Now, place your chest down onto your thighs, place your hands on the mat. Inhale, lift your fingertips, elongate your spine. And then we're going to place our hands slightly out in front of us. Step back with your right foot, step back with your left foot. Downward facing dog. Release your knees to the mat, ease your hips back toward your heels, and come into a comfortable child's pose. Now, let's go ahead and press in our hands, walk our hands back in, come off of our knees for a few moments, and let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Let our knees drop open here. Nice external rotation of our thighs. Let your hands rest on your ankles. You can bring your feet in closer to you or keep them further away. Let's sit up nice and tall. Take some of the tension out of the low back. Maybe bounce our knees a little bit to stretch the muscles. Again, this is a nice gentle way to start to get the muscles to loosen up if they're super tight. Now, if this feels good but doesn't feel like it's doing much for you, let's put our hands slightly behind our hips. Press into your hands and then tell your knees to press toward the floor. So we don't want to push down with our hands on the knees. We want the knees to press toward the floor on their own so that it lands in the hip joints and the connective tissue. Take a minute and really notice how this feels. Again, it's targeting fascia rather than muscle. And then if you like, bring your hands back to your ankles, elongate the spine, lean forward from the hip flexors, and that's going to give you another stretch in the hip joints. Maybe slightly more intense, probably. Walk your hands out until you feel like the stretch is enough, or the stress, I should say, for connective tissue. Breathe. You can bend your elbows and lean in for a little bit more of an intense stress. Walk your hands back in. So this is the kind of stress that we want to have in our life where we stress connective tissue. Let's take the legs out a bit. Now this is just a nice, comfortable, wide-legged position. Let your legs be as relaxed as you can. And also allow yourself to lean forward so that you feel like you're sitting at the top of your thigh bone. So that gives you the best position for letting the legs relax. And also, if we're leaning back toward our tailbone, it rounds our low back out. So let's just take a minute and notice how this feels. Maybe we draw our toes toward us. Maybe we point the toes. It's just a little flexion and extension with the legs. Not a very intense stretch, but adding the feet in gives you a nice dimension to the stretch. You might neglect your feet. Maybe you don't really stretch the feet, but they're important too. You can rotate the ankles, maybe back in the other direction, and breathe. Now, maybe we decide to lean forward. Place your hands in front, walk your hands out, or slide them down toward the ankles, whichever feels like a better stretch to you. You're going to meet some resistance at a certain point. That's where we want to give ourselves permission to pause. And it might be as far as we go today, unless the body relaxes and relents and lets you go further forward. Walk the hands back in. Let's bring this right leg in, and then let's take this left leg back. Allow yourself to put one hand on either side of this right knee, and on the exhale, let's bend the elbows, lower down to the leg, adding some compression to your abdomen, thigh and hip. Inhale, lift up. Now you can have hands flat or you can be resting on your fingertips. You can also not really have to use your arms much with this movement. Notice what you need. Inhale, lifting up. Excuse me. One more time. Exhale. And once more on the inhale. Now, we might decide to twist a little deeper. Maybe we bring our hands to the outside of the knee, possibly walk them all the way back toward the hip. Staying in an upright position, notice the intensity of the twist in the rib cage, the waist, and the hip. And breathe. We can stay with this, or we can add a forward fold to it. Allow yourself to come down onto your forearms. Walk your hands back in again. Maybe you press into your right hand, stretch your hip flexors, reach that left arm up and over. And breathe. And then we're going to lower the hips down. Let's extend our left leg. And keep your right leg centered. And then let's lean forward from the center of that ankle. Walk your hands out until you meet some resistance once again. So this is going to be focusing on the low back as well as the extended leg, getting a pretty good stretch here. And breathe. Maybe walk our hands over to the extended leg. Place your hands on your thigh or slide your hands to your ankle if you like. And breathe. We're going to walk the hands back in. Let's go ahead and bring the left leg in front of the right, or let's put the foot on the knee, knee on the foot, or you might opt for an internal rotation of your thighs, knee on top of knee. Extend arms out, right arm over the left. Give yourself a big hug. Lift the elbows up. Let the muscles across the upper back stretch. Let the muscles across the chest shorten and soften. Drop your chin if you like, round forward or fold forward, and breathe. Now, let's go ahead and come back up. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them all the way out. Let your hands come down beside you. Lift up through the crown of the head so your neck elongates, your shoulders drop down away from you. Turn your fingers toward the back of the mat. And when you do this, notice how it feels across your chest. You're sitting up tall, so you're opening up space between the vertebrae and the back. Maybe lower your chin to your chest. Nice stretch in the back of the neck. You can just hang out here, or if you choose to, make some somatic neck circles. Turning your head to the right, look out over the shoulder, lift your chin up from there, bring your head to center, make sure there's lots of space as you're making this circle. Over to the other side and drop the chin down and back to center. So maybe a couple more circles. Take your time, breathe. Notice how this feels. One final circle. Again, sometimes this slow movement can feel maybe boring, but moving nice and slow like this gives you a lot of information about what you're experiencing. Lift your head up, release your shoulders. Let's do this again on the other side. Left leg forward, right leg back. One hand on either side of this knee. And on the exhale, again, we're going to lower down toward the leg. Use your arms as much or as little as you like here. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. And inhale. One more time. Exhale. So the less you use your arms, the more you're going to have to use your torso with this. Inhale, lifting up. Again, if you want to, take your hands to the outside of the knee, maybe walk them all the way back toward the hip. Notice how this feels in the rib cage, waist, and hips. Stay upright with it or fold over that leg, come down onto your forearms. Deer pose. And then we're going to walk our hands back in again. Maybe press into that left hand, stretch your hip flexors, reach that right arm up and over. And then let's lower back down. Extend the right leg out, keep your left leg centered, hands in front of the ankle. Lean into this forward fold. Let your body go where it feels comfortable. Give yourself permission to stop when the body feels like it's pushing too intensely. Relax the shoulders and maybe walk your hands over to the extended leg. Notice how that feels. Slide the left hand to the outside of the right leg, ankle or foot. We're going to bring those hands back in again. Right leg in front, foot on knee, knee on foot, or go for a shoelace if you prefer. Arms out, left arm over the right. Give yourself a big hug. Again, notice how this feels to stretch the muscles across the upper back. Shorten the muscles in the chest. Drop your chin gently or come all the way forward if you like. And breathe. Now inhale, let's come back up. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them all the way out. Let your hands come down beside you. Sit nice and tall, let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Turn your fingers toward the back of the mat, walking your hands in closer. Lower the chin. Turn your head to the left. Lift the chin up. Elongate the neck as you bring it to center. Turn to the right. And then we let it come back to center. Maybe a couple more circles like this. Take your time. And breathe. Not forcing or pushing anything. Now, when we make it all the way back to the center, let's pause. Lift our head up. And let's go ahead and place our feet on the mat. Wrap your arms around your shins, sit tall. This is going to add some compression to your abdomen. It's going to allow your spine to elongate. Just take a minute and notice how this feels. Now we might lean back a bit, slide our hands right behind our kneecaps. You might decide to lift the feet up off the floor. You could extend your legs out in front, half boat. Maybe you release the hands and extend your arms all the way out and breathe. Let your feet come down, wrap your hands around your shins, sit tall to ease any back tension that might have created. It's good for core strengthening, and it's also an opportunity to just stay as long as you want, come out of it and come back into it if you prefer. Now you might reach through the knees, loop your fingers around your big toes or reach for the edges of the feet. Allow yourself to come back and find that balance point. Sit tall, elongate the spine. Maybe you take those legs out in front. You can partially straighten the legs or possibly fully straighten them. Maybe we open the legs out wide. Wide-legged boat. And breathe. Let's bring those feet back to center. Let the feet come down. Wrap your hands around your shins. Sit tall and ease the back tension again. Now extend your left leg out. Let's cross that right leg over if it feels comfortable. That left leg can stay straight, or you might decide to bend the left knee and bring that left foot to the outside of your right hip. Left hand can rest on your right knee, sit tall. Open up some space in the torso. Let's look at the right shoulder and then consider placing our right hand behind us. Left hand can hang out on that knee. It can draw the knee in toward the center. Maybe you wrap your elbow around it or let it rest on top. Coming into a seated spinal twist. And breathe. Now we're going to come back to center. Bring that right hand to the right ankle, twist in the opposite direction, unwind the twist. And then we're going to come back, re-extend the left leg, Bring your right leg on the inside of that left leg. Maybe put your foot down by your ankle, or you might slide it all the way up toward the top of your thigh, your choice. It's going to open that knee out. And then we're going to center ourselves over the extended leg. Sit tall. Lean forward from your hips. Maybe we slide our hands toward our ankle. As you lean forward toward that ankle, we want to keep our low back long and straight. And make sure you're not rounding, not getting compression between the vertebrae. And then when you get closer to the leg, you can fold a little bit more deeply over the leg. And breathe. We're going to walk those hands back in, bring this right knee in, or the other knee in, yeah, right knee. And then let's go ahead and draw the other knee in toward the chest. Again, you can stay here, or you can cross it over. Keep the extended leg out in front of you, or bend the knee, bring it to the hip. Now, let's put the left hand on top of the right knee, sit tall, notice how it feels. Look at your left shoulder, place your hand behind you. Draw the knee in toward the center. It's just a slight movement, but it is going to stretch your IT band more. If you wrap your elbow around the knee, it's going to create a lot more compression in the torso. It's good. It's good for digestion, but it also feels a little maybe more stressful to breathe. And you can put the elbow on top of the knee and press into the knee. This is going to deepen the twist, plus allow you to breathe a little deeper. So you might try this version and breathe. So remembering there's not just one right way to do any yoga pose. There's a lot of options available. You can always choose by picking what one feels best to you, not just what you think is the most advanced pose. And then come back to center, and let's twist in the opposite direction. Unwind the twist and breathe. And then we're going to come back. Let's re-extend that right leg. Bring your left leg on the inside. And again, let's put the foot wherever it feels most comfortable to you. Sit tall. And if we do nothing more than this, it's a nice hip opening stretch, but we can lean into this. We can slide our hands down toward our ankle. You might put one hand on the other side of that foot, fold over that leg a little more deeply. Walk those hands back in. Let's go ahead and come onto all fours. Tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's do a little bit of cat-cow here. Lift your gaze up, let the center of your spine drop down, tailbone tilts up, just creating a U shape in your spine. And then on the exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw your chin toward your chest, lift the center of your spine up toward the ceiling. So let's move through flexion and extension of the spine here. Take your time. Inhaling and exhaling. So we did some flexion and extension of our spine at the beginning in a nice seated, gentle version. This gives you more freedom of movement here. One more time. Inhale. And once more on the exhale. Come back and then come back to a neutral position. Let's take the right leg back behind us. Tuck your toes. Level your hips out. Keep your gaze on the mat. You might decide to extend the left arm out, thumb toward the ceiling. Now you're in a bit of a balance challenge here. Stay here or lift that right leg up. And that's going to add another dimension to the balance challenge. Press through the heel, reach through the fingers. And then set your left hand down, let your right leg cross over. Now when you cross that foot over, it's going to stretch your right hip. Take a moment, notice how that feels. You can look over your left shoulder at your right foot. That's going to add another level of intensity to the lateral flexion. Now, let's bring that right leg back to center. Draw your right knee forward and through. Place both hands on either side of that knee. You might turn that right knee to the side. So both hands are on the mat. Tuck your toes on your left leg. Slide your left leg back. Come off your kneecap, rest on the top of your thigh. Walk your hands in close to your body, pigeon pose. So take a minute and notice how this feels. It is a back bending pose, so it's energizing. Breathe. You might decide to fold over that leg, come down onto your forearms. Coming into maybe a gentle pigeon pose, a sleeping pigeon pose, I'm sorry, a gentle sleeping pigeon pose. So it's going to add a little bit of compression to your abdomen. You can bring your forehead down onto your hands, and that's going to be a little bit more compressive in your thigh and in your abdomen. It's always going to be a matter of choice as to what you need. Now, when you're ready, we're going to lift our head up, walk our hands back in, both hands firmly on the mat. Tuck your toes on your left leg, come off your kneecap, and then press against your hands so you can set that right knee down. Left leg's extended behind you. Maybe extend your right arm out. Lift the left leg up, spinal balance, and breathe. Now, right hand comes down, left leg crosses over. Tuck the toes on the outside of the body. Look over your right shoulder to your left foot. Nice, deep lateral flexion of your spine. Nice hip stretch as well. Bring the left leg back to center. And let's go ahead and draw that left knee forward and through. Keep yourself supported. Consider turning that left knee out to the left side of the body. Tuck your toes on your right leg, slide your right leg back, walk your hands in. Pigeon pose. This is the upright, back bending, more energizing version. And breathe. Now we might decide to bend our elbows, fold over that leg, add the compression to the abdomen, sleeping pigeon. Inhale, lift your head up, walk your hands back in, both hands firmly on the mat, tuck your toes on your right leg, come off your right kneecap, and we're going to come back to our tabletop position. Now we're going to come all the way down onto our abdomen, stack your forearms, turn your head to one side or the other. Now you can keep yourself elevated a little bit if you need to by just keeping the elbows underneath the chest, but allow yourself to notice how this feels, whichever way you've chosen to come into this. Now, let's go ahead and put our elbows underneath our chest, forearms and palms on the mat. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose, but then we're going to add another dimension to this. So we might tuck our toes in back, press through the heels of your feet so your kneecaps come up off the mat. And then if you like, you can press into those forearms and press back through the heels for a forearm plank. And breathe. Now shift forward, let your hips come down, tops of the toes come down. Once again, come into crocodile or Sphinx pose, whichever feels more comfortable to you. Or maybe just stack your hands underneath the forehead. Again, let's bring our head back to center, elbows underneath the chest, forearms and palms on the mat. Sphinx pose here. You can stay with this or tuck those toes in back. Press back through the heels, fully engage your legs. And then all you need to do to come into a forearm plank is to press into the forearms and back through the heels. And breathe. Shoot forward, let the tops of the toes come down. Once again, pick your favorite version to rest. Now from here, let's go ahead and roll over onto our back. Let's come to constructive rest pose. Place your feet on the mat. Let those feet be hip distance apart or a bit wider, depending on what feels good to you. Move them further from your hips or bring them in closer. Once you get your feet situated, press into your feet. So your hips come up off the mat. Tuck your tailbone up a little. Come down across your sacrum. Lift your head up. Elongate the neck. Let the back of the head rest so your neck is neutral. You can adjust those shoulders a little bit to be more comfortable. Let your hands rest on your rib cage or away from your body, whichever feels better. Let's let the knees sway side to side a little bit here. And breathe. Notice how this feels to move through the rib cage, the waist, the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Nice gentle movement. No stress, no expectation to do more than this. Now, it could be that those knees come all the way to the floor in each direction, or possibly maybe only one side or the other. So check in with your body, move in a way that feels right to you. Now, we're going to come back to center. Allow yourself to bring your feet in a little bit closer and make sure they're just hip distance apart at this point. And now let your hands come down and rest next to you. We're going to inhale, press into the soles of your feet, tuck your tailbone up so your sacrum, or actually the arch of your back, presses more into the floor. And on the exhale, relax and release. So the arch comes back into your back a little bit more clearly. So inhale, tuck your tailbone up, press into the soles of your feet. Notice how this feels. We're just doing a very gentle pelvic tilt. Again, let your body relax. One more time, inhale, tuck the tailbone up. You can press into your palms. Just a slight movement here. Now we're going to take this into more, if you like. So from here, you might allow yourself to tuck the tailbone up, press into the soles of your feet, lift your hips up toward the ceiling, and so elongating your hip flexors, and on the exhale, let your back come down to the mat one vertebrae at a time. And then once that arch of your back comes down, allow it to relax and come back into its neutral position where it's not all touching the floor. So we're going to do this again. Inhale, press into the soles of your feet, tuck your tailbone up, lift your pelvis up toward the ceiling, a bridge pose, and on the exhale, slowly, gradually release your spine back down until your back comes back to neutral. Again, inhale, tilt your tailbone up, press the arch of your back down, begin to lift the hips up toward the ceiling, breathe, and on the exhale, slowly, gradually release your spine back down until the whole body relaxes again. And so that's a good way to start to build core strength. Bridge pose is where you flow through that, and then you can stay in that pose for longer if you choose to at some point. Now from here, let's go ahead and walk our feet in close to each other. Ankles and knees touch. Let your knees shift to the right. Look to the left and extend your left arm out, supine spinal twist, twisting from the base of your skull to your tailbone. Allow yourself to notice your breathing. Let your body relax into this twist as much as you can. So if you're trying real hard to keep your knees symmetrically together, or if you have your hands in fists or you're clenching your jaws, give yourself permission to soften and relax a bit. So even in its gentlest form, a twist is going to be really good for the nerves and muscles in your back and your balance and digestion. Let's let the knees come back to center. And then on the exhale, let your knees shift over to the left and extend your right arm out. Look towards your right hand and allow yourself to notice how this feels to twist in the opposite direction. Can you soften? You let go of some of the tension you're holding. And breathe. Now, let's let the knees come back to center again. From here, let's go ahead and bring this right knee in towards your chest. As you bring it in, it's going to add some gentle compression to the right side of the abdomen. The knee and the hip are both in a compressed state here. Now, let's slide this right knee to the outside of the torso, a little closer to your shoulder. Notice how that feels in the hip, and breathe. Keep your right hand on your right knee and let's allow this knee to open out to the side. It's going to stretch your inner thigh. We want to use some guidance so we don't strain the hip joint. Extend your right arm all the way away from your shoulder. This is going to stretch your inner thigh. And then we're going to bring that right leg across the center point and back up toward our shoulder. Let's do 2 more of these circles with your hand on the knee, guiding it through its range of motion. Remember, we can just keep it really small and gentle, or we can make it more expansive. Just don't push through pain. We're going to do this one last time, paying attention to how it feels. Now, when your knee comes back in towards your shoulder this time, we're going to bring it all the way to the outside of the torso. Lift the sole of your foot up toward the ceiling. Reach for the edge of that right foot. Bring the knee down toward the floor. Half happy baby. Good hip stretch. Good compression in the knee. You might even decide to loop your fingers around that right big toe. Open the right leg out to the right side. Now, as you do, that's going to stretch the back of your leg as well as your inner thigh. And it's going to release tension in your shoulder. Take a minute and notice how this feels. Now we're going to bring this leg overhead. You have 2 options. You can bend the knee, bring it to center and extend it up, or you can bring it from here. If you bring it from here, you can hold on to the toe. You can keep your hand underneath the leg for moral support, or you can just use the strength of the leg. Just don't strain your back to get there. Now, once you get here, let's point and flex the foot. So that's going to stretch the back of the leg as well as your shin, your ankle. Nice stretch in this position. Now, let's go ahead and flex the foot, bring it across the center point. You can let your left hand be here to stabilize the leg. We want to focus on the IT band, the outer right thigh. Notice how that feels. Now let's come back to center. Place your right foot down. And let's bring our left knee in toward our chest. Again, it's going to add compression in the left side of the abdomen. You might go ahead and keep your hand on your knee as you open that knee out to the side. Let's make 3 circles again. Guide this hip through its range of motion. The knee comes toward the floor. Extend that left arm away from you. Bring it across the center point and back up toward the shoulder. So 2 more circles if you like with this hip. Take your time and notice. Don't force or push. 1 more circle after this one. Take your time with it. Now, when that knee comes back in towards your shoulder, we're going to slide it to the outside of the torso. Lift the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. Reach for the edge of the foot. Let the knee come toward the floor. Half happy baby. Maybe loop your fingers around that left big toe. Let that left leg open out to the left side. It's going to give you a shoulder stretch and a leg stretch. Breathe. Now, let's go ahead and rebend that knee. Let's bring both knees in towards your chest. Excuse me. With your hands on your knees, you might rock a little bit across your low back, which is also going to compress your abdomen gently. It's going to encourage digestion. You can take both knees to the outside of the torso. Take the pressure off the abdomen. Maybe lift the soles of both feet up toward the ceiling. Reach for the edges of your feet. Feet flex toward the ceiling. Happy baby. You can rock from knee to knee across your low back here. And breathe. Now from here, we're going to bring our feet together. Let the knees come together. Slide your hands behind your kneecaps and start to extend your legs up toward the ceiling, partially or fully. Keep your hands here for support, or let your hands come down and relax beside you. So legs up the wall. Again, my favorite inversion. This is the inversion that everyone can use rather than having to do headstands, handstands. Nothing wrong with doing those. I'm just saying this is one that is accessible for most people, even if you use the wall. It's called legs up the wall because you could use the wall. But also you can hang out in the middle of the room and maybe point and flex your feet. You can maybe circle your ankles a few times if you like to add some stretches to the ankles. Breathe. Possibly loop your fingers around the big toes, press up through the soles of the feet, press your low back into the mat. Notice how this feels. And breathe. Now, if you're using the wall and you just want to hang out there for a while, you can do that. Maybe you decide to open these legs out to the side. This is also something you can use a wall for. When you take the legs out, you get a nice stretch in your inner thighs and the back of the legs. So the wall could be supporting your legs when you do this. If you're hanging out here in the middle of the room, you put your hands on the outside of the knees. This is going to give you a great inner thigh stretch and back of the leg stretch. And breathe. Now, let's bend the knees. Bring the soles of the feet back together. Bring your knees together. Let's put the left foot down and put your right foot over on top of the left knee. Supine pigeon. Nice gentle hip opening stretch here. Bounce the knee a little bit for a deeper stretch. And breathe. Now, if this is enough of a stretch, you can stay with this for a bit longer, but you can bring your left knee into your chest and wrap your hand around the left shin. That's going to intensify the stretch in the right hip. So check in with that and see how it feels. Once again, you can come out of this if you need to, or you can stay longer. And breathe. Let's put the left foot down. Slide your right knee over on top of your left knee. This is going to create an internal rotation of your thighs. Check in with your right hip. If it feels intense right here, you can just uncross your knees and you don't have to go deeper with this. But if it feels pretty good, let your knees drop over to the left. Extend your right arm out. Look towards your right hand. Supine spinal twist. Notice how this feels. Breathe. So this is twisting your spine from the base of your skull to your tailbone. The hips are getting a deeper stretch, the shoulders getting a deeper stretch, as well as through the rib cage. And breathe. Let's let the knees come back to center. And on the exhale, uncross the knees. Let's go ahead and put this left foot over on top of the right knee. Once again, you can bounce the knee, get a little bit of a stretch. You can bring this right knee in. Wrap your hand around that right shin if you need a deeper stretch than that. And breathe. We could extend that right leg up toward the ceiling. Possibly reach for that right big toe with the left hand. Now you're getting a deep stretch in that leg, a deep hip stretch, as well as a shoulder stretch here. Now let's let that right foot come down. Set it down onto the floor. And then slide your left knee over on top of your right knee. Internal rotation of your thighs. Check with your left hip and see how that feels. It might feel like it's pulling intensely. If that's the case, we stay here. If it feels pretty good and you want to take the stretch deeper, let the knees drop to the right. Extend your left arm out, look towards your left hand, and allow yourself to notice how this feels. And breathe. Now, let's go ahead and bring our knees back to center. And on the exhale, let's uncross them. Slide your feet to the end of the mat. Reach your arms overhead. Let's stretch out from our fingertips to our toes. Point and flex your feet. Stretch each side of the body separately if you choose to do that. Maybe you just flex your feet and press all the way through the soles of the feet. We're going to come into final relaxation here. So we're going to take our time, find our way into the most comfortable position we can think of. Could be on our back, palms up, feet out to the sides, Shavasana pose. Shavasana is a comfortable position to be in for final relaxation. The main thing is the actual relaxation. So if you'd rather have your knees bent, you can let them rest against each other. You can roll onto your side, let your head rest on your arm. You can roll back over onto your abdomen in child's pose or crocodile pose, but allow yourself to find that place. And then from here, we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to focus on the real point of yoga. What you do in your yoga practice, the physical movements, your level of flexibility, your need for intensity or something more gentle, it's not where your value comes from. Your value comes from you being exactly who you are in the moment. So if you're not feeling super energetic when you come to the mat and you're not needing to move your body intensely today, that's okay. Now, when you need to move more intensely, there's nothing wrong with doing the poses to a deeper intensity. Again, as long as we keep it in a reasonable amount, it's okay to be more intense as well. The goal is for us to be really honest with what our body needs today. So when you come to the practice and at the end, if you notice your body needs to rest, let yourself just lay there in a relaxed state. Or maybe we stop doing the poses a little earlier. But if we really need to move more intensely, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. Adding a little bit of your own flair to it, whatever that might be. So give yourself permission to be discerning as to how much energy you need to expend today, how much energy you have to expend. But also notice where you might need to be a bit more gentle with yourself. If you have an injury or just some discomfort in your body, give yourself permission to let go of needing to do more. Allow yourself to notice how your body feels after the practice. Is there some area of the body that's still holding on to lingering tension? Even if we do all the poses and all the movements made available to us, sometimes we're going to find that our body still holds on to tension. You want to notice that. When you get to that place, give yourself some compassion. Let go of trying to force the body into submission and instead acknowledge that the body is still tense and it's okay. Let the body relax when it's ready. Allow yourself to notice your breathing. Is it erratic? Is it dysregulated? If you start to notice that your breathing is dysregulated, the quickest way to get the breathing regulated is to stop trying to fix it or change it. Just pay attention to your breathing as it is. Let go of trying to evaluate it, fix it, or change it, and just breathe. When you stop trying to fix or change your breathing will begin to become regulated. Maybe it's hard for your mind to stay focused in the body at this time. Could be you're already planning what you're doing later on. Maybe your mind's somewhere altogether. Notice somewhere altogether different. Allow yourself to notice if your mind wanders off. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes go by and you don't even know what poses were called or where you're going with this. And that's okay too. But again, noticing where your thoughts are, noticing what's pulling you away from being able to relax or let go or just move your body comfortably. So allow yourself to start to notice all the things, the distractions, the breathing, the physical tension. Maybe it's just the nonstop barrage of thoughts that run through our mind when we're in stillness. So just so you know, that's normal to have a lot of thoughts trying to get your attention when you're in stillness. The practice of yoga is to acknowledge those distractions or acknowledge where your mind goes when you're in stillness and you're not quite able to stay present. Again, this is not about evaluating ourselves or judging ourselves or trying to live up to somebody else's standards. It's to notice what we're actually experiencing, where we need to be more gentle, where we need to be more compassionate, where we need to be more intense or energetic, but only if that's what your body really needs. Allow yourself to notice anything else that calls your attention, and then give yourself permission to let go of needing to fix or change anything right now. Give yourself permission just to be exactly as you are. Again, the practice of yoga is not doing, it's being. So, wherever you find yourself today, wherever your mind is, wherever your body's at when it comes to moving through the poses, remember you're enough exactly as you are. You don't have to fix or change a thing to be enough. You already are enough. So for now, give yourself a few moments to just breathe and just be exactly as you are. Now, when it feels right to you, allow yourself to start to move again. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, allow yourself to stretch, take up more space, find a comfortable neutral position to sit in. Let's maybe use Adi Mudra today. Thumbs in the palms, fingers around the thumbs, grounding and calming for anxiety. Allow yourself to sit up tall. Notice your breath. Set an intention for the rest of the evening now. After your practice is over, do you want to sleep more deeply? Do you want to rest without feeling like you have to continue to do for the rest of the evening? Give yourself permission to choose what feels right for you. I want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me tonight. I honor the place in you, which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace from my heart to yours. Namaste.